about some good practices for dealing with claims diversity, a correspondent vision, because we are working currently as a correspondent in Romania. Long story short, about Reclex, we had our beginnings in Suceava. We had the vision to answer some uncovered needs of the insurance market from that time of the years. The insurance market can be characterized by dynamic, but also can be characterized by instability, and also the whole economic environment from that year were instability characterized. In 2014, we initiated the development of a complex set of claim services for insurers with a claims buffering anti-fraud service that I will talk much more in the following minutes, and also Green Card and Fourth Motor Directive claims management. In 2016, we received the correspondent quality on Romanian territory by the international Green Card system from the Romanian Motor Insurance Bureau. And in 2017, we started our European expansion and development to other horizons. So that was the long story short about our evolution. Why do we talk about diverse claims, and why we talk about claims diversity? As you can see in this slide, oh, thank God, it's seen well. Data courtesy of Insurance Europe, you can see that in 2016, these are the most recent data. Even though the total gross direct written premium decreased, the total claims and benefits paid increased generally by 0.7%, only in motor by 3.5%, which means that the claims that must be paid for damages went higher, and you can see that the money paid for claims are growing faster than the money paid for written premiums. So we have to increase the attention, we have to increase the control on which sides, which roads the money are taking it. So given the fact that society evolves from time to time, we have to pay much more attention to the innovations and the new let's say, solutions used by fraudsters. About Romanian situation, I have this chart courtesy of BR, of our National Bureau. Interesting to see the year 2007, the year of Romanian's admission, the number of accidents increased overpassing 12,000. Also, the year 2008 was a good year because, of course, with our Romanian admission in the European Union, the Romanian territory was passed by a lot of cars from different countries. Also, it's a very important moment, as you can see, the 2009 year. It was a full crisis year for Romania, so the people need to find out some new solution and some desperate solution for desperate times. So you can see that the green line, when the German registered cars and also the Italian registered cars made a switch with the Bulgarian registered cars, and the accidents caused in the late years, 2014, 2015, 2016, the most of them caused in the green card system over the Romanian territory are caused by Bulgarian vehicles. So it's an interesting phenomenon. It's constantly, and we have to somehow deal with it. During our walks around the country, we started to see much more Polish and also Lithuanian car registered vehicles, but this trend doesn't shows immediately in the statistics. We're waiting for the statistics of 2017, of course, from our National Bureau. Life as a correspondent. Life as a correspondent is interesting. Today's perception is different from each side of Europe to another. For example, the correspondent is most of the time seen as a claim handler. They gather together documents, they put together the investigation report, they send it back to the insurer, they wait for some clarification, some questions, some approval, and then they pay the claimant. That's almost a postal service perception from my point of view. The correspondent can can be a good courier company. That's today's perception. But the perception should be different because the correspondent actually acts much more like a bank, because the correspondent pays the claimant and pays the indemnities from its own money, and then he waits for to recover the money from the insurer. So this money component of our correspondent life makes us different. Why we don't also agree with the perception from today, the post office perception from today is that beneath the activity of a correspondent there are a lot of process and a lot of efforts, and we can say in this industry that these efforts are very big, and we don't allow to deny it, and we don't allow to not taking into consideration. So the hard work that is made for claims handling is there, and we all must recognize it. The other interesting facts in our life as a correspondent is the dual mandate. What means that? Basically, we have the first mandate between followed the National Bureau. We have first mandate from our National Bureau. We must deal the claim in a correct and justified manner, because we have been mandated for the National Bureau. The second mandate is the mandate that we have from the insurer, which is a much more commercial agreement between the correspondent and the insurer. And each insurer needs to know that the money are spent correctly, and needs to know that the money are spent efficiently. So basically, the correspondent are balancing between those two mandates. One from the public institution, which is the bureau, which is the authority, and the other one from the insurer. You can imagine a correspondent as an acrobat on a string, trying to deal with efficiency on the other side and also with the rules and regulation on the other side. The other interesting thing as a correspondent is the West versus East perception, and also the trust and pay versus check and pay. Because the West wants for the claims to be indemnified quickly, smooth and easily. It doesn't matter very much, and I said this thing before, it doesn't matter very much how big is the value. The West European insurers want to do this process really quickly, which is quite different from the East part of the Europe, when the insurer are asking for more clarification, the process is delayed, and you have to answer much more questions. It's the same trust and pay in the West and check and pay in the East. Also, another, let's just say, interesting fact is the new regulations, because we also have to deal with the internal regulation of the Council of the Bureau, as each correspondent have it, but we also have to deal with the latest changes in the national legislation. So the new regulation and also the national legislation are like in the same balance like we are with the dual mandate. And of course, the IT and digital evolution and the innovation, there are also within in all this claim handling process, because today everything goes social, even your accident, even your injured party, and even everything. So we must pay attention to this part of our life that became stronger and stronger. Also, a correspondent needs to pay attention to the new IT solution, and needs to pay attention to the new solution and the new innovation brought in the market by the manufacturers. Because the car components seems to be different, they have different system now, and the old inspectors or technical inspector needs to get in touch with the new trends, and needs to be much more briefed with the new important and the novelty industry, in the car manufacturing industry. Our life as a correspondent. Alongside the classic procedure that we are using in claims handling activity, we decided to fight against fraud using an innovative system called the claims buffering system. I was firstly presenting this claims buffering system last year in Vienna in the same conference, pretty much in the same moment of the day before the lunch. And it was really appreciated, and a couple of weeks ago I heard that it was already translated or transposed to another insurance, and also from another, it was transposed to another institution from Europe, from Italy. I think I heard an example. So our claims buffering system and our vision over the claims system and over the fraud fight was appreciated, and it also, what is important, it has a psychological reason, because we want to discourage the fraud intention. You will see in my next slide what type of frauds we are dealing with. Long story short about our claims buffering system, we try to manage and we try to analyze as much as we can the claim files from the very beginning, from the customer care. So basically the first verification and the first contact with the client and with the claimant, the injured party or also the guilty driver, are in the call center, when we try to preserve as much information as we can about the future claimant and the future holder of a claim file. If the claim file passes this stage, we go further to documentation review, when our specialists analyze everything and all the documentation related to that claim file. If we have another okay, we go to a technical inspection, and then we go to a technical inspection over the field. Imagine that these steps must be done as quickly enough to respect the regulation and also to respect the national laws that we have in this area. The fourth step is the internal technical analysis that gathers together the field inspection, gathers together all the information. Also in the technical inspection we try to put together all the cars involved, it doesn't matter the name, all the injured parties. And the internal technical analysis actually is one of the most important parts of the process, where we gather together everything and we try to understand and to see if that claim is grounded or not so grounded. And then if we pass this fourth step, we go to the anti-fraud approval, which sends the claim file in the next process of the claims handling, or send it somewhere back for further investigation in order to take and to decide all the legal measures that is needed in this case. During our activity, we found something interesting each day, and each claim file is different. There are several types of frauds. You have seen all of them written there, from big frauds to smaller frauds. Basically, the best classification of the frauds are in hard and soft frauds. The hard fraud, I think the name says it all, is an internationally created fraud, a framed fraud that has this purpose. The claimant, if in case he doesn't succeed with one correspondent or with one insurer actually, he goes to another and to another and to another. And also the soft frauds. The soft frauds is actually the bigger problem, because the soft frauds shows us that there's quite a system there. The soft frauds are much more common, and they are, let's just say, opportunity fraud. Because an accident happens, but you think that you should take as much as you can from that accident, even the fact that you had some old damages to your car. Which one of you gave the example with the big car that had a scratch or something, and everyone was keeping away from that car? Yeah, that was a good example of that direction. Also, in our latest years, we gathered just a few data. 88%, more than 80% of our claim files were labeled as frauds, hard and soft frauds, most of them soft frauds. And also the frauds committed by different parts of the event. Most of them are committed by the TPs. Also, I would like to share with you a story, a case of an untypical case of insurance fraud. I don't know if you know the lawyer insurance case with the cigar, with the expensive cigar. It's a common case, it's coming from the USA. Long story short, the lawyer purchased a box with some interesting label of cigars, then issued them to an insurer against, among other things, fire. Yeah. Yeah, you should insure your goods that you have, also against fire, no water, fire, and so on. Within a month, having smoked his entire stockpile of these great cigars, without yet making his first premium payment, but he smoked all of them, and after he finished his package of cigar, or sweet cigar, he filed a claim against the insurance company. Yes, it gets interesting. In this claim, the lawyer stated that cigar were lost, prepare, in a series of small fires. It wasn't lying at all. In a series of small fires. It's that simple. The insurance company refused at the very beginning to pay because it was an obvious reason. That man had consumed the cigars in a normal fashion. Next, the lawyer sued and won. Stay with me. The judge stated nevertheless that the lawyer held a policy from the company which it had warranted that the cigars were insurable, and also guaranteed that it would insure them again against fire without defining what a non-acceptable fire means. So the company was obligated to pay the claim. The insurance company accepted the ruling and paid almost $15,000 for the lawyer and for his sad loss of his cigars. Do you know the end of the story? It has an end. After the lawyer cashed the check, the insurance company had him arrested in 24 hours, counts of arson. Because with his own insurance claim and testimony from the previous case being used against him, the lawyer was convicted of of burning with intention his insured property and was sentenced to 24 months to jail. And he paid a $24,000 fine. So the main question about this story, this funny story, is if it's true or not. And I googled some opinions about it. They say that it's a true story that even was first prize winner in criminal lawyer contest award something event, but it became an urban legend. So that's why we have this cloud of uncertainty if it's true or not. But that prize is there. Okay, so talking about complex and diverse claims, no? Look what happened. Okay, building the future, because the future awaits us. We try to work and we try to develop our services with more transparency and trust within the industry, because we must gather together against this phenomenon. We must build trustful partnerships. Also, we need to have an open communication, networking, and collaboration between the entities, even though we are in the same market. Because, as I said before, if a claimant doesn't succeed with one insurer, he goes to another and another and another. And given the fact that we don't have a common databases for the claims that happened all across Europe, the only solution is to communicate as much as we can with the market and with the network. That's why we appreciate very much this kind of events for networking and for sharing ideas and to get connected with each other. Also, we need to promote in the claims industry a fair relation with the insurers, a correct, a direct, and a fair relation with the insurer, a smooth communication between the insurer. Because the issue is common, the fraud is common, and the fight against fraud should be common. Also, we must create client-oriented strategies. I think you know actually, most of you know the term millennials. These are the new customers. Everything goes social today, everything goes how they dictate the trends today, so we must create client-oriented strategy. In the near future, I hope it will be not that near, in the near future, if a company is not client-oriented, should be not at all. So it will be not at all if it's not client-oriented. We need to simplify and to make procedure much more flexible, or if they are not that flexible or it's not possible to do that, to explain the procedure I'm talking here about the collaboration and partnership with the insurers and within the other clients from the industry. Also, we need the new technologies, but sometimes the resistance to the changes is higher than our willing and our wish to switch, to embrace the new technology. So this switch should be made step by step, even in our industry. Even in our industry, because we're talking in the insurance claims management and also in the insurance fraud over a very important factor, the human factor. A good and well-experienced specialist in the claim industry and in the inspection field is really hard to find in this market with this working condition from today and with this huge migration from east to west. So the human factor is still important. That's why the switch to the new technologies should be made step by step from our point of view. We are just a part of the industry. Okay, so as I said, it's important to create lasting partnership to face the the obstacles. That's a hard word for me. I will repeat it again. Because there is a common phenomenon. We have to all have in mind this, the fraud intention especially, and we must have partnership against this phenomenon in all across the industry. That's why we embrace, the idea of the MBEF. Before ending, I would like to share with you also an epigram showing the fraud history of insurance. Do you know how old this case of fraud can be? It's old, it's really old. Let's just say that in this epigram that I will read to you, short, don't be afraid. This epigram dates from Roman Empire, the 1st century. It was created by Martial or Marshall. I'm not good at Latin languages. That shows that the fraud intention is historical. Of course, the example is no motor related, so the example is on insurance fraud generally. Tongilianus, you paid 200 for your house. An accident too common in this city destroyed it. Doesn't seem, I pray, that you set fire to your own house, Tongilianus, because you collected 10 times more. So the fraud is old. Look how old, ancient Rome. Thank you very much for the presentation.